When did your parents realize you weren't their baby anymore? I'm 28, but my mom still checks if I've brushed my teeth before bed. 3 days ago, at my sister Vanessa's wedding rehearsal dinner, she literally walked up to me in front of everyone, licked her thumb, and tried to wipe something off my face. Mom, what the— Shush, baby. You've got sauce on your chin, she interrupted, scrubbing at my face while the entire wedding party watched. Being the youngest of 3 kids with a 10-year gap from my siblings meant I was permanently frozen at age 12 in my parents' minds. After Mom's stunt, Dad pulled me aside and slipped me a $20 bill into my hands, whispering, "Don't spend it all on video games, champ." My brother Todd, who's 40, ruffled my hair and asked if I needed help cutting my steak. When the hostess asked about drinks, Mom quickly interjected, "He'll have an orange mix with a little umbrella on the glass. That's his favorite." The bartender looked at me, confused, probably wondering why a grown man in a suit was being ordered a children's mocktail. The actual wedding day was exponentially worse. During the ceremony, my parents made me sit between them in the front row, and Mom tried to hold my hand so I wouldn't fidget. At the reception, while other guests found their elegantly labeled seats, Mom guided me by the shoulders to a separate round table in the corner, the kids' table, complete with coloring books and a basket of crayons. "But the seating chart says—" "Oh, honey, that must be a mistake," she cooed, already pushing me into a chair next to my 7-year-old cousin, who immediately asked if I wanted to share her coloring book. My designated meal, chicken tenders with a side of mac and cheese, while everyone else enjoyed filet mignon. Uncle Pete walked by and laughed. "Still sitting at the kiddie table, huh? Some things never change." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of fun-sized candy bars, dumping them next to my plate. "Save some for after dinner, sport." My brother Todd brought his teenage kids over, pointing at me like I was a zoo exhibit. "Remember, you guys used to play together when you were little." His 15-year-old son looked mortified. "Dad, he's literally older than my teacher." But Todd just chuckled. "Don't be ridiculous. He's as young as they come." When it came time for toasts, Dad actually stood up and said, "And we can't forget our baby boy. Hopefully one day he'll find someone special too when he's ready." "No rush, Tiger." That's when Vanessa's new husband, Nate, cleared his throat and approached our table. He looked directly at me, his eyes serious and grateful. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't let tonight pass without saying something." The reception quieted as he continued, his voice carrying across the room. "I need to thank you, properly, in front of everyone." My mom laughed nervously, patting my head. "Oh, that's sweet, Nate, but what could our little— You saved my father's life," Nate said firmly, his voice cracking slightly. 2 months ago, when every other surgeon said the tumor was inoperable, the silence was deafening. My dad's champagne glass stopped midway to his lips. "There must be some confusion," Aunt Linda interjected from the next table. "You can't mean—" Nate pulled out his phone, showing a photo of him and his father at the hospital. "Dr. Jane here performed a 16-hour surgery that 3 other neurosurgeons wouldn't even attempt." The nursing staff called him a miracle worker. My mother's hand, which had been stroking my hair, froze completely. He's a doctor?" Nate nodded. "Head of neurosurgery at Presbyterian. Youngest department head in the hospital's history. You didn't know?" The kids' table suddenly felt like it was under a spotlight. My 7-year-old cousin looked up from her coloring book. "Wait, you're a brain doctor?" "But my mom said you still lived in your parents' basement playing video games." The crowd started murmuring, phones coming out, probably Googling my name. My brother Todd's face had gone pale. But I gave him Pokemon cards for Christmas last year." "I tried to tell you," I said quietly, standing up from the kids' table and straightening my tie. "Multiple times, but every time I mentioned the hospital, you assumed I meant volunteering at the gift shop." I paused, looked around to make sure everyone was listening, and told them once and for all, I haven't lived at home in 10 years. I have a penthouse apartment and a vacation home in Aspen. That night, I received 17 apology texts, 12 LinkedIn requests from relatives, and 3 offers to catch up over coffee.